Since King Von's death, the streets have been on fire with non-stop tension and retaliation. His crew hasn't let up for a second, staying active, dropping diss tracks, and making sure the world knows that the war didn't end with Von. This time, they didn't keep it low-key either. The drama spilled over onto IG Live, with everything from Lil Durk calling out Quando Rondo to Von's closest allies writing for him and making moves in real time. It's been all-out warfare in the name of Von. King Von, born Davon Doquan Bennett, on August 9, 1994, came out of Chicago's infamous O-Block neighborhood and rose quickly in the drill scene. With cosigns from Lil Durk and a spot on the Only the Family label, Von made his mark with vivid storytelling and raw street narratives. Just a week before his passing, he dropped Welcome to a Block, a debut album that was already making serious noise. But on November 6, 2020, tragedy struck when Von was fatally shot outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta during a confrontation between his crew and associates of Quando Rondo. According to surveillance footage later leaked online, Von was the first to swing on Quando, turning a verbal altercation into a brawl. Amid the chaos, Timothy Leakson, associate of Quando, allegedly pulled out a gun and opened fire. 6 people were shot, including Von, who sadly didn't survive. Initially, fans online were confused, unsure if police were involved in the shooting, but Atlanta PD confirmed that Von was struck before law enforcement even arrived on the scene. One of the most heartbreaking moments came when fellow rapper Lil Reese found out about Von's passing, sending shockwaves through the hip-hop community.
Man, my girl woke me up and told me, like, your homie just got killed. I was like, what you mean, who? She was like, Von. And then I got on the internet and I seen everything. I was like, I was up.
Another heartbreaking moment was captured live on Instagram when Von's close friend and mentor, Lil Durk, found out about the shooting in real time. Durk was midstream when fans began flooding the comments with messages that Von had been shot. Visibly shaken, Durk abruptly ended the live. That gut-wrenching moment quickly went viral, spreading shock and sorrow across the rap community. Shortly after, Durk posted a tribute that read, "My twin is gone. I love you, baby bro." He later deactivated his Instagram and stayed offline for months. The bond between King Von and Lil Durk went far deeper than music, though not blood relatives. They often referred to each other as twin or baby bro, terms that spoke to their loyalty and shared history coming up from O-Block. Durk signed Von to his Only the Family OTF label in 2018, shortly after Von came home from a 3.5-year prison bid. With Durk's guidance, Von transitioned from street notoriety to mainstream buzz, dropping hits like Crazy Story, which climbed to No. 81 on the Billboard Hot 100 and put his vivid storytelling on full display. Crazy Story 2.0 and all these ******* further prove their chemistry in music and in life. To understand the events that led to Von's death, we have to look at the deeper tensions brewing in the rap game. The confrontation with Quando Rondo's crew didn't just happen out of nowhere. There had been smoke building between camps, particularly between Durk's OTF and NBA Youngboy's Never Broke Again collective, which Quando is closely affiliated with. Quando later claimed in an interview that the fight broke out when Von's team approached aggressively and he was hit, prompting his crew to react in self-defense. He described the moment as surreal, saying they weren't expecting a fight. But surveillance footage later surfaced showing Von as the first to swing on Quando before the gunfire erupted, casting doubt on the self-defense claim. Timothy Tim Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo, was arrested and charged with felony murder for Von's death. Although murder charges are typically non-bondable in Georgia, his legal team secured a $100,000 bond, and Leaks was released on March 27, 2021, with an ankle monitor. The decision sparked outrage among Von's fans and affiliates. Von's ex, Asian Doll, aired her frustration online, voicing what many saw as a miscarriage of justice. Then came a shocking twist. In August 2023, the felony murder charge against Leaks was dropped before going to trial. His attorney said prosecutors didn't believe they could prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt and likely saw the case as self-defense. A legal analyst clarified that the dismissal didn't mean Leaks was innocent, just that the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict. Von's supporters were furious. Asian Doll even tweeted, though later deleted, that police told her Tim didn't kill Vaughn, but that law enforcement did, a claim for which no public evidence exists. Making things worse, shortly after the case was dropped, Leaks released a track titled Left Standing, in which he bragged about beating the case, further antagonizing Vaughn's grieving supporters. Vaughn's death left a massive void in Chicago's drill scene and triggered a relentless cycle of retaliation. The ripple effects extended far beyond that tragic night in Atlanta, leading to more violence, legal battles, and loss for people on both sides of the conflict. In a 2021 interview, Vaughn's former manager, Track, reflected on the eerie similarities between Vaughn's death and that of another fallen rap icon, Tupac. Shocker?
Bro, it's past there. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, it's the same scenario. And Vaughn is like the same type of artist, same type of guy. Like, it just say God must have had a plan, and the plan got to be probably bigger than we all know it is. It's crazy how that scenario comes.
The parallels between King Von's and Tupac's deaths are striking. Both were rising stars who kept it real in their music and their lifestyles. Both were taken out after initiating physical confrontations that escalated into fatal violence. But Vaughn's story didn't end with his death, or even with the dropped charges against Timothy Lowell, Tim Leaks. In the months and years that followed, a series of alleged retaliatory actions kept the beef alive, with social media playing a major role in documenting the escalating conflict, including the alleged targeting of Quando Rondo. Vaughn's death hit his day one, Lil Durk, especially hard. In December 2020, Durk dropped The Voice, an album dedicated to Vaughn, with cover art featuring both of them and the phrase, "Long live grandson." The project served as a tribute and a therapeutic outlet for Durk, but beyond the music were signs that something much darker was brewing. Rumors swirled about a revenge plot, and in August 2022, the tension seemed to boil over when Quando Rondo was targeted in a shooting at a Los Angeles gas station. The attack killed his cousin, Lowell "Pab" Savoy Robinson. At the time, the motive wasn't confirmed, but federal charges filed in October 2024 shed new light on the case. According to the indictment, 5 men from Chicago: Cavan, London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston were charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in death. Prosecutors alleged that the attack on Rando's crew was retaliation for King Von's murder. The indictment claimed that an unnamed co-conspirator, widely speculated to be Lil Durk, offered money and music industry opportunities in exchange for killing Rondo. The details laid out in the indictment are chilling. After learning Rondo was staying at a Los Angeles hotel, Wilson allegedly recruited the others, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, to fly in from Chicago. Grant reportedly flew in on a private jet from Miami and provided firearms, including one modified to fire automatically. The crew used a rented BMW and Infiniti with fake plates to carry out the hit. Prosecutors said the hitmen later regrouped at a burger spot to discuss payment, with Jones and Lindsay eventually receiving compensation. Records showed that flights, rentals, other logistics were paid for using credit cards linked to OTF. The case escalated even further in October 2024, when Lil Durk was arrested near Miami International Airport and charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. An FBI affidavit claimed unnamed witnesses said Durk put a bounty on Rando's head following Von's death. While Durk wasn't named in the indictment as the person offering the incentives, his position as head of OTF, with his legal team arguing that the case lacks solid evidence and that the prosecution misled the grand jury. Originally scheduled for trial in January 2025, the proceedings were delayed to October 2025 due to the case's complexity. Over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence and 20,000 pages of documents are involved. Von's death also triggered other legal fallout. In October 2024, the estate of FBG Duck, a fellow Chicago rapper killed in 2020, filed a civil lawsuit against King Von's estate, Lil Durk, and OTF. The suit alleged that Von placed a $50,000 to $100,000 bounty on Duck's head, suggesting a broader pattern of organized hits tied to the label. If true, these claims show how deeply violence gang ties, and the music business can become entangled in today's drill, blurring ethical and legal boundaries. Social media, particularly Instagram Live, has played a major role in this cycle of violence. As mentioned earlier, fans broke the news to Lil Durk about Von's shooting while he was live on IG, but there have been even more graphic and tragic moments captured on the platform. In July 2021, LA rapper Indian Red Boy Zarael Dejan Rivera was fatally shot while live on IG, speaking with influencer Capone. He was hit by at least 12 bullets while sitting in his car, with the stream showing his final desperate moments. In another shocking case, Alabama rapper Honeycomb Brazy was ambushed while on Instagram Live in November 2020. He was showing off a Kobe Bryant jersey outside a barbershop when he was shot 8 times. Brazy survived after spending a week in a coma. Though doctors initially feared he'd never walk again, beyond documenting violence, Instagram Live has also been used to provoke and threaten, particularly in the wake of Von's death. OTF affiliates have used the platform to pay tribute, but also to call out their enemies and promise retaliation. This creates a dangerous feedback loop where online taunts spark real-world violence, which is then broadcast online again, further escalating conflicts. As one Twitter user noted, King Von's death didn't just represent the loss of a rapper, highlighted a self-perpetuating cycle of violence that continues to claim lives in the hip-hop community. In an interview following the shooting, Timothy Lowell Tim Leaks gave his version of what went down that night, offering his own perspective on the chaotic series of events that ended in Von's death.
When you did finally find out that it was King Von who died, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn. If Brian did that stupid last night, he would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama saying like that.
When asked about the comparisons being made between King Von's death and that of Tupac Shakur, Lowell Tim responded bluntly.
People actually compare this to Tupac's situation, where Pac went and jumped on somebody on a crib that he should have put his hands on, and shortly afterwards they go back and they end up killing him. Do you see comparisons to your situation and what happened to Pac?
Yeah, not 100%, but pieces, yeah.
Beyond the specific incidents involving Instagram Live, there's a wider context of violence surrounding the Chicago drill scene that King Von was deeply embedded in. This subgenre, known for its raw, unfiltered lyrics about gang life and survival in the streets, has long faced criticism for glorifying violence and fueling real-life conflicts. King Von himself was allegedly linked to multiple murders before rising to rap stardom, though he was never convicted. A controversial documentary titled King Von, rap's first serial killer by Trap Lore Ross, claimed he was connected to as many as 10 killings, including that of 17-year-old female gang member Gakira K. Barnes in 2014. Although Chicago police documents later named Von as a suspect in Barnes's death, no charges were ever filed due to lack of evidence. The documentary was eventually pulled from YouTube following backlash from Von's family and fans, who accused it of being sensationalist and factually misleading. The aftermath of Von's death also brought disturbing developments. In 2020, unauthorized autopsy photos were leaked online, sparking outrage. Von's sister, Kayla B., demanded that the mortician responsible be fired, calling the leak a disrespectful violation of his dignity. The photos not only caused emotional pain, but also reignited conspiracy theories, with some speculating about betrayal or foul play. These theories were partly fueled by vague language in the autopsy report, which confirmed multiple gunshot wounds but lacked detailed ballistic evidence, leaving key questions unanswered. The drill scene's emphasis on authenticity, it real often blurs the line between artistic expression and lived street violence, turning music into a battleground. King Von's death and the retaliatory violence that followed brought this deadly overlap into stark focus. The broader impact on the hip-hop community has been sobering. His story exposes the toxic cycle of revenge that continues to claim young lives in the rap game. As one Twitter user put it, the timeline from Von's murder to the alleged murder for hire